Hey everyone, and welcome to part two of I Stumbled Upon a Dead Language. I checked the inventory list for the experiment. Most of the cards were just mentioned as a number and an emotion, but I noticed that some of the faces were repeated with the same actors. All the cards which Logan had gotten right were repeated at least once, but the weird ones? Those were unique faces. The lighting was different. They didn't show any peculiar emotions, they were just strange people. A bit off. I took a few photos with my phone and tried to do an image search. I couldn't get a single hit. These pictures simply weren't available anywhere online. The ordinary emotions displayed could be found on various stock image sites, but not the strange ones that Logan pointed out. Finally, after a few hours and dozens of pages clicked through, I did find a picture that looked like one of the models, but in a completely different setting. And this was freaking weird. The picture I found online was from a social media profile. The profile, in turn, portrayed the user page of the very same homeless man that had drowned in his own sweat from an overdose, the same one I'd read an article of. But the article was written just a few days prior, and the picture must have been taken at least weeks ago. Listen, I don't know if you can get this. What Logan did was to perfectly describe, using one of his made up words, was exactly what was about to happen to that man. The man who galled, who overdosed on the beach. I mulled the whole thing over in my head countless times, and finally I just gave up. I had to talk to Logan again. I did the creepiest thing I've ever done. I tracked the kid down at his school. The following day, as he was about to get on the bus back home, I waved at him from across the parking lot. He was surprised to see me and couldn't place me at first. Then, I could see him recognize me, like something lit up in his mind. "Hey!" he called out. "Science man!" "Hey, Logan," I called back. "How's it been?" "Good," he said. "You're not here for more tests, are you?" He stopped a few feet ahead of me. "Actually, I'm just here to ask you about that language of yours. Those strange words you use. How do you come up with them?" "That's easy," he said. "Once you start talking in it, you kinda don't stop. After a while, you just feel them, you know?" "So where did you learn it?" I asked. "Anywhere special?" "I think I always knew," he shrugged. "Like it's weird, like listening, but not to a sound, but like a color. It's just sort of there, inside. So you can always see it. Because sometimes you said people in pictures were just happy or sad, ordinary things. Well, sometimes these things are easier to see. You said I should answer fast, not, accurately. So you can see it now?" I chuckled. "Anywhere? Here with me?" "Sure," he smiled. "Just stand still for a bit." Logan looked at me for a while. As I met his eyes, I could feel something. There was that feeling again. Obstin. To see something I shouldn't have. Right there, in that kid's eyes. He knew something. Strangely enough, it wasn't him that broke the silence. It was me. "Athos," I said. I didn't know why I said it, but it looked like Logan was surprised. Uh, the one who shouts until they listen," he said. "That's what it means, right? I think that's me." "I don't know," I said. I I'm sorry, Logan. I don't know why I said that." "Did you see it?" he asked, almost excited. "Do you see it now?" I want to say that I didn't. I want to say I saw nothing, but that would be a lie. A million little words crept into my mind, and as I stared into that kid's eyes, I saw something I shouldn't have. Now, it was all becoming clearer. The words I knew, the better I understood. The more I'd look for Srit was a lot more complex than Logan had made it out to be with human words. It was contextual. The man had died in an earthquake. He fell between the cracks. No, he hadn't. He was going to. It was describing events destined to unfold. But it was also describing something that had happened. Was it both? Neither? I see it, I admitted. Right there, I could feel the parking lot falling away in insignificance. With a single unspoken word, we could tell each other infinite things. These mundane expressions were just the tip of the iceberg, a dumbed-down shadow of what was truly being said. The words told us of things that were, things that could be, and things that currently was. And in that moment of silence, of understanding, I heard the vibrant colors so clearly I could almost see them. They were piercing into my mind, forcing themselves into my understanding, screaming to me that once you understand something, you can't unlearn it. I forgot to breathe, as to not accidentally say something I shouldn't. You weren't talking about the picture I held up in the test. You were looking at me, I said with nothing but a shallow breath. Obstin. I'm Obstin. You didn't even look at that picture. He didn't have to answer. I knew it was true. It was written into the word itself that my realization would come. Then, as possibilities came rushing towards me, I could feel an enormous weight come down on me. My mind couldn't take it. My body was shutting down as I fell to my knees, screaming until my neck felt raw. The world started to fade as my heartbeat swallowed my hearing. I have a hard time describing what happened next. When I closed my eyes, I'd see millions of possibilities, mostly pain, suffering, and terror. My own thoughts and emotions multiplied like a torch in a hall of mirrors. I'd see myself waking up in my bed, only to get murdered by 1,000 different weapons. I'd see myself drowning in a bathtub, breaking my neck, falling down the stairs. Death. So much death. And in the blink of an eye, I'd be in the back of an ambulance, feeling the residual effect of a defibrillator on my chest. As I blinked, the ambulance burst into flames. The driver crashed into a tree, someone carving their initials into my chest with a scalpel. None of it was real, but I couldn't tell anymore. Different worlds with nothing but a well-placed syllable. All the while, I was just spitting out seemingly random words. My eyes lost focus, and as I lost grip of my reality, my body shut itself down in self-defense. Thank God. This was back in January of 2019. Logan was born with this language already stored in the back of his mind, some kind of residual effect from his contamination. But for people like you and me, we can't take it all at once. So over the years, with intense therapy to back me up, I've settled on trying to learn one single word. I'm going to find out as much as I can about just what it means to be obstinate, the word describing me. There was so much to that one word that you could fill a lifetime with it. In a way, maybe that was the point. A God language, meant to fit all of our very beings into simple expressions. Like compressing a folder into a zip file. But that's just the thing. To learn what it really means to be obstinate, to be my word, I can't really do anything else but to live and see what happens. Not unless I want to go back to where my mind wandered off to. Still, sometimes I can feel something creeping back into my mind. Little tingles, syllables and sounds, reminding me of all the knowledge I still have stored away somewhere in my inner madness. Little words with galactic proportions. It is so easy to slip back into that mind, just inches away from the edge of what my physical brain can hold. I sometimes wonder what all your words are. I sometimes wonder what they mean. I'll really, really try not to think about it.